Hey guys, Corey Young here from Investor Life. We have an excellent property offering for you that we wanted to share, and it's located in Edmonton. And in this video, we're going to talk about a few things. First off, we're going to talk about what do we mean by a turnkey transaction. When we say this transaction is turnkey, what are we talking about? Secondly, we're going to talk about why we like this type of property in particular, because there's something a little bit special about it. And thirdly, why we like this location. So the location of this particular property or properties that are available is really cool. And so we're going to share some of that in the video as well. And near the end of the video, I'm going to just talk a little bit about who we would recommend, what type of investor we would recommend this property for, and what type of investor we would probably not recommend this property for. And so if it does interest you, stick around to the end to find out about that. So let's get right started into it. So first of all, what are we talking about when we say a turnkey transaction? Because that's what we consider this. Well, number one, everything is included. So what we mean by that is this is a brand new build in Edmonton. And all the landscaping, all the fencing, all the appliances, all come with the property, and they're included in the purchase price. So a lot of times, and many of you might know if you've ever bought a newer type property or a brand new property before, you usually the appliances aren't included. Usually the landscaping, you need to arrange that or do it yourself later, build a fence later, all of that stuff. And that's, for us as investors, and particularly if you're buying a property out of province or far away from you, you don't want to be dealing with all of those things. And so everything has been included with this. So literally, day one, when the property closes and you get the keys from the builder, you hand those keys straight over to the property manager, and a tenant can be moving in that day. So that's how slick this really is, and that's why we call it a turnkey transaction as well. There's a few other steps that we've included in that, and what that is their insurance that is in the cash flow sheet that's actually been quoted on by our insurance guys at BrokerLink. And so the insurance is ready to go. The mortgage broker has already been arranged for this. Now, if you already have a mortgage broker that you're working with or you're pre-approved on, then that's fine. You can still use them. If you don't and you still need financing, we have a guy set up for that. He actually has 3 different types of financing options, different ways of structuring a deal depending on whether you're buying one of the units or whether you're buying 3 of these units together. And we'll get into that a little bit deeper later if you have any questions. The lawyer has been briefed on it, Miller Thompson. They already know about it. So all the property manager has been lined up for this project as well. So all of the experts that you're going to need along the way are all sitting there ready. And that's another reason why we call this a turnkey type transaction. So secondly, let's talk a little bit about why we like this type of property. Now, in particular in Edmonton, where this property is located, if you wanted to put a legalized suite in a basement of a property, it had to be a single family detached type home. And that was the only type of property that's, in the history of Edmonton has ever been allowed to be a legalized suite. But what's different about this is we would consider these are still considered single family, but they're not detached. They're more attached style, townhouse style housing. Now there's no condo fees. It's not in a condo corporation or anything like that. These are single family homes with legalized suites. But if you can picture it, instead of one house with a suite in the basement, you have that exact same thing, but 3 of them attached in one building. So there's 3 upper suites, 3 basement suites in one building, 3 single family homes attached together. Now what makes that really cool is that because they're being built that way, there's a lot of cost savings. So what that does is it brings the purchase price down. If you're going to buy a single family home with a suite, you might be $500,000 to $600,000 in the Edmonton area. But if you're going to buy one of these townhouses with a suite in it, because they're attached, there's cost savings for the builder, there's cost savings for you, and the purchase price is significantly less. It's just over the $400,000 mark. And so you're saving $100 or more than $100,000 by doing it that way. And the rents stay almost the same, and so that's what increases the cash flow. So that's why we really like a property like this. Is you are getting a single family home. You have the option of buying 3 of them together in one building, which means you would have 6 units in one building, and then that because the cost comes down and the rents stay the same, your cash flow increases. And so they work really, really well if you're buying something brand new. And that's another key, is when it's brand new, that means you have, not only do you have a warranty for 10 years in Alberta with the Alberta New Home Warranty, but think about it. Your appliances are brand new. Your roof is brand new. Your doors, your windows, your exterior, everything in it is all brand new. And so your repairs and maintenance for years to come is significantly less when you're buying a new property. And the reason that in history, you know, when you think of an investment property, a lot of people don't even think that brand new is an option because they've been too expensive to be able to cash flow on. But when we do it this way, it brings the price down. The rents, it attracts a very high quality tenant. That's another thing we like about this type of property. It attracts a very high quality tenant, and they take really good care of your properties, which means your repairs and maintenance are a lot lower for many, many years to come. So real big pluses when it comes to with a type of property, why we like this type of property. Okay, why do we like the location? So the rest of this video will get a little more detail, and they'll show some pictures and where it's actually located. But I just wanted to mention a couple of things is what makes Alberta as a province stand out from a lot of the other provinces in the country is you have no land transfer tax when you're making a purchase. So that's going to save you several $1,000s out of your pocket at the beginning. And there's no PST in Alberta as well. So not only at the beginning, you're only paying GST, but you know, throughout the life of that property, when you're talking your property management fees, when you're talking your contractor fees, if you need to get something fixed, all of those types of things, you're only paying GST. You're not paying a provincial sales tax. So that does make a difference in your bottom line and your cash flow as well. So those are big pluses about Alberta. Another cool thing is it's very landlord friendly when you're talking about regulations. And so one of the things we really like is that you're able to raise the rent whatever the market will allow once per year. So in the past, you know, when we've had down markets and the market is increased, we've been able to raise the rent $300, $400, $500, $600 a month when the lease renewal comes up, because that's what the market was able to bear. So that's a really cool feature in Alberta. There's no rental restrictions as far as only being able to raise it a certain percentage or not. So I hope that gives you a good idea as to what we would consider a turnkey transaction, also why we really think that this property in itself is special, and the location. We're now going to show you some maps of Edmonton, where it's located, some more information about some of the things happening in the Edmonton area, very close to where these properties are located, and also some photos and a walkthrough of the property so you get a good feel as to how are tenants going to feel when they walk in. You know, what kind of people is this going to attract? So have a look at this, and at the end, remember, we're going to talk about who we recommend to buy a property like this, but also who we would recommend not to buy a property like this.
Good afternoon. Some good news for the local economy. Amazon is setting up shop in the Edmonton area and will need to fill hundreds of jobs. Tom Vernon joins us now with more. Tom, what kind of operation will this be?
Gord, it will be a 1 million square foot customer fulfillment center where employees will be picking, packing, and shipping products to customers. Now, the center in Ladue County will be built along the Nisku Spine Road and is actually the 11th distribution center built by Amazon in the country. Conversations have been ongoing since last February to get this deal put in place, and the county is very excited about what this might mean for attracting other major businesses to the area as they look to diversify from oil and gas. The facility is scheduled to be operational by 2020.
According to the most recent census, the metropolitan area of Edmonton grew by 13.9% since the last census in 2011. That's almost 3 times the national rate and faster than our provincial growth rate. And we know that Southwest Edmonton is one of the fastest growing areas of our city, particularly for young families and newcomers.
So I hope that that video answered some of your questions about the location and also the type of property it is. You can see in the pictures in the walkthrough the high quality build it is and how that would attract a really high quality tenant. I've always said, if you can picture yourself living in an investment property, is this a type of property that I would live in myself? If the answer is yes, then that would make it a good investment type property for you as a landlord to own, to have to rent out, because it's going to be easier to rent, right? It's going to be easier to attract a really good quality tenant when they walk in and they say, wow, this place looks amazing, and wow, it's close to everything, and I love the location. It just, way easier to rent out. It makes it for a great property to own for many, many years to come. And that leads me to what I said I would answer at the end of this video, and that is, who do we recommend this property for, and who do we not recommend this property for? And we would definitely recommend this property for somebody that's looking for an easy type of investment. So if you're looking for something that's turnkey, that's ready to go, that is going to be easy for years to come, remember the repairs and maintenance is going to be on the low end of things. You're attracting really good quality tenants. I'm saying that over and over, but I'm saying that for a reason, because that's what keeps people in real estate investment, is if you can stay in long enough for the property values to go up, for your mortgage to be paid down, for the cash flow to add up. That's really what makes a difference when it comes to investing in real estate. So you buy the right properties at the beginning, properties like this that attract really good tenants, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. That's what keeps you in the game long enough for your cash flow to turn to wealth. Okay, so that's the type of person that we would recommend this for. If you're looking for a long-term buy and hold, who would we not recommend this property for? If you're looking to buy something and put in some sweat equity to increase the value, we would not recommend this type of property for you. You'd want something older, something that you could work on. If you're looking for doing a fix and a flip, or if you're looking to do a flip to yourself, that type of strategy, this is not the property for you to be looking at. This is more for somebody that's looking for a long-term buy and hold where they don't really want to do a whole lot. They want to have a property manager manage it and rarely ever hear from them, or they're going to manage it themselves and it's really easy to do. That's who we recommend it for. Okay, so those are my thoughts on you can figure it out for yourself which one of those two molds you might fit into. Now, what are the next steps? If this interests you, very, very simple. All you do is below here is our email. Send us an email. It's info@investorlife.com. And please give us your name and your phone number. What happens then is I connect you with the sales team directly, and they can answer all of your questions on this. So if you have questions about layouts and you want to see floor plans and you want to see specific addresses and you want to get more information, whatever questions you might have, then they're the ones that are going to answer that for you. So send us an email, info@investorlife.com, and we will connect you with the sales team. They'll answer all of your questions. If this is something that you want to then move forward with, this is how it's going to work. You would end up signing the necessary builder paperwork with our sales team. And once that is signed, you send in a $3,000 deposit. That's like a lot hold type deposit. That puts a lot on hold for you, so it secures one of those 3 units, or if you're wanting the whole building as itself, so 6 units all in one, you would end up securing that with a deposit. Once that's secured and the paperwork is signed, you're given roughly about 2 weeks to get your financing in order and get an approval. And again, we have a mortgage broker lined up if you don't already have this going, or you can use your own if you do have this going. But you get about roughly 2 weeks to get your financing in order. Once you remove the financing conditions off the paperwork, that's when it becomes a firm deal, and you're required to send in a 10% down payment or a 10% deposit, which forms a part of your down payment, and you send that into the builder. And of course, if you forget all of this, you can ask those that you're dealing with on the sales team, and they can answer these questions for you. So the remaining 10%, if you're putting 20% down, the remaining Down payment is paid upon closing, or within about a month of closing is when you'd want those funds ready to go. Okay, so that's kind of the process, and of course the sales team is going to be there, the builder is going to be there to answer your questions along the way, to help you out along the way, and of course we're here as well at Investor Life to help you if you have questions along the way as well. Okay, so those are the steps. If this is what interests you, again, just send us an email, info@investorlife.com. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope that it helped you a little bit. Maybe if you're looking for a property, either now or in the near future, maybe this will give you an idea of the type of property. If you're not ready right now, the type of property that might interest you in the future. And of course, if you have any questions, let us know. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.